guys.
Question. Coach, you said back on Saturday that your injury list at that time wasn't great, but it would change after that practice on Saturday. So did things move in the direction you wanted them to, and where do you just feel like you're at overall?
Yeah, it's just unusual. Usually you start and you're in good shape and it grows, and we're going in the opposite direction. So we've made some modifications to our practice. We do that every year based on Andrew Nelson, our sports scientist, recommendations, as well as Chuck Losey and the coaches. So I think that's helped. We're out here a little bit shorter, not much shorter, but we're out here a little bit shorter. Reducing reps a little bit, not much, not significant. But yeah, so those guys just had to get cleared, and they've cleared. So we're going in the opposite direction, which is good and unusual for camp. Knock on wood.
I'm sorry, James. How are you handling running back?
Glasses?
They're metas, so they're actually recording.
Oh, is that what that light flashing right there?
Yeah.
But we don't allow them in the building.
In your building?
Yeah.
There may have been another program that used these nefariously somewhere. I don't know who it was.
I don't know about all that.
Seriously, running back wise, how are you divvying up snaps when you have two veteran guys and then you have so many young guys kind of competing for backup spots?
Yeah, we got a pretty good idea who Nick and Fat are, right? So, giving them enough that they're continuing to get better. Similar challenge that we have with Olu and Tyler Warren and a lot of guys like in that situation. So limit some of their reps. And then we can't give enough reps to the other guys. So cutting Katron and Nick's reps down, and then giving as many of those other guys reps as possible, and then kind of rotating who goes out as the number 3 each day type of deal. But it really doesn't matter. It's same with the quarterbacks. They're all getting the same number of reps. It just day by day who goes first.
Can you tell us kind of looked at running back getting his feedback on that?
Good. I think, as you guys know, that was significant injury. So there's the physical component that he was still working with, the mental component that he was still working through, and emotionally as well. And I see him getting more and more confident every single day. He's totally ready to go, but it was a significant injury. So he's still working through some of those things. He starts to look more and more like the Cam we remember every single day. And I'm proud of him. He's handled it all really well.
James, how does Donkley look at guard, and when do you want to get things settled as far as your first 5 guys?
Yeah, like always, we'd love to have our starters at every position decided as early as possible. But even when we do that, we're still going to rotate those guys because we want to create flexibility. And even if the starting 5 may look like X, if there's an injury, we're going to have to move people around to get our best 5 guys on the field. So I get your point. He's looked good. He's a talented guy, as you know. He's athletic enough to play tackle, but he's also 323 pounds, so he's got enough physical size, strength, power to get movement at guard. So he's kind of what you want. You can't get enough of those type of guys that create position flexibility. So he's getting a ton of reps at both, but we're not at a point to make a decision. We've only had really one scrimmage the other night in the stadium, but we've got a ton of work, but not really ready to make a decision.
James, should help you with the defensive back spot. How is Zion look there after this season?
Yeah, Zion both at defensive back and as a returner looks really good right now. Our depth at returner is much better. Now it's focused on who's going to be the best playmaker rather than the confidence of who's catching the ball. Kenny Woosley's doing a really good job in there at the nickel as well. But there's battles all over the place. AC has had a really good camp. Elliott Washington has had a really good camp. We got really good options, and the battle between King Mack and Day Day at safety has been impressive. So again, not sure how it's going to play out, but they've all earned the trust of their teammates as well as the coaching staff.
James, I think we saw Nittany Lions working the tackles as opposed to the ends. Is that a permanent change, and if so, why?
Yeah, so we are going to move Enai inside. I think long-term, it's his best position in terms of being able to play the game as long as he can. Whenever you move down a position, you increase the athleticism. He has been as big as 275 pounds without even trying anyway. So it's something that we think can help him and help us. And he's also smart enough that if we got a game that we want to play with a big end, because he is physical, like you guys know we've done in the past with some guys, we could move him out there or use him in a goal line package too. So just trying to put him in the best position to bring value to us and for himself long term.
Speaking of those defensive tackles, how have the young guys responded early in camp to the work they've got?
Yeah, I think you guys know there's been a lot of talk and buzz around Xavier. Blanding is twitchy and as athletic as that we have at the position, and is really taking a step right now. And then there's a group of like 3 guys that are battling for those next 2 spots. I probably should have included Wafel too. Wafel is the other one that is doing some really nice things. And then there's that group of 3 guys that are all battling. Liam, Cook, Randy are all battling kind of, for those next spots. So we feel good probably about those top 4 to 5 guys. And then there's a battle for that 6th defensive tackle.
Coach, will you change your approach to the number of times you're at Beaver Stadium this summer because the fact that it's a construction area?
Yeah, we're going to try to get in as many times as we can this camp, because we didn't get in, to your point, this spring. And I also just think for our young players, it's important to get in there as much as possible. We went in there the other night; it was awesome. The weather was great. The stadium looked beautiful. And the lights were on, and we got really good work. But some guys you could tell looked different in there. It was big for them. But it's cool. I think the stadium's gonna look phenomenal. Those decks they have in the corners that's always been empty. They put these temporary stands, not just in the big ends, the big sideline, but in those corners. And I'm sitting there looking up, like, why didn't we do that in the past? Like that was wasted space forever. That even the temporary bleachers. I think that's awesome. I think that's a huge opportunity for us. I think Pat and Vinny have done a phenomenal job of finding. You're going to see a ton of upgrades this year, and then obviously next year is going to be crazy. So there's been a ton of hard work and really good ideas about how to maximize that stadium and how to make it as loud as possible. It's always been a great venue. I think it's only going to get better.
While we're on the stadium talk, are your coaches going to flip over to our side of the sand? Why? Do you want to do that, or what? I'm sure there's something that.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. It's not going to matter anymore because we're going to have a really nice press box on either side. I know you guys have loved that. That naval ship that looked like about to fall off the side of the stadium for all those years. But from that standpoint, it really didn't matter. So now it's where's the best side to be on to see the game, and also maybe stop some people from stealing signals.
2 more guys. James, we haven't had a chance. We haven't heard feedback on Zariah from you since preseason camp open. How has he looked so far for the week?
Yeah, good. He is a veteran guy. He's an experienced guy. We got a ton of faith in him, and we got a ton of belief in him. He's physical against the run. He's productive against the pass. He's had a few little things, bumps and bruises that have limited him a couple of practices, not all of them. So that's impacted it as well. But no, we expect him to be across from Nittany and having a big year for us.
When you look at just that receiver room, since we talked about it, we might as well do it this week. Just the younger guys in that room. You talked about the transfers on BTN, and you mentioned some of those younger guys. Who are those guys? Whether it's at the stadium, maybe someone flashed to you, or just here? Yeah,
there's a ton of guys. There's the second-year guys that have really made moves for us that we're excited about and see. There's some guys that have been around for a while, like an Ivy. JB's a guy that is playing lightning fast right now. So there's older guys that are kind of stepping up and ready to make a move. Liam's a guy that not a lot of people are talking about, but we got a lot of confidence in him, and he's a veteran guy for us. And then when you look at that young class of Lyric and Kobe, Jeff Exner is a big physical guy who ran extremely well when he showed up. You know, and Matt Alton. So it's a good group of young guys that we're excited about, and I think a couple of them will end up playing, you know, this year. You know, we'll see. You know, Kobe's been the guy that I think has gotten a lot of buzz early on, but there's been other guys that have stepped up and I think have earned a ton of respect as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out.